Welcome to Espiritu Coffee Chats, where we brew up inspiring conversations over a warm cup of coffee. I'm Valerie, the co-owner of Surge Coffee Co., where we highlight culture and community in all of our drinks.
And I'm Arlene, the owner of Lunasoul Wellness. As a holistic realtor, interior designer, and spiritual coach, I'm excited to bring a unique perspective to our chat.
Together, we'll explore the world of herbalism, spirituality, and the entrepreneurial journey.
We will also dive into our Latina backgrounds and how we navigate the everyday world.
So grab your favorite mug and settle in, and let's dive into today's chat.
Hello, Valerie. We are
Hello.
back with episode number 3 of the podcast, Espiritu Coffee Chats.
Yes, I'm loving. Also, I'm actually really loving this background. I feel like this is so great.
Yeah, it's definitely you and me and me and you. I might just switch the setup so I can be on my comfy little guest couch bed type deal. But this is my office, people. I have my Bruja books back there, and then this whole other setup, and then Frida's behind us checking us out. She's like, "Bitch, what y'all doing? Look at her face."
She always wants to be part of the podcast.
Yes. This is for the people watching us on a video. Okay, anyways, I digress. So we are in October, so we are in the midst of spooky season. I'm super excited. I love the fall, and mostly because guess why?
Because it's pumpkin spice season.
Yes, it's cafecito season. Yes. So what are you brewing? What is Surge Coffee Co. brewing up this month?
So we have released officially our fall season menu. So we're bringing in a really scrumptious pumpkin spice latte, and the syrup's made by another local small business here in San Diego, and they are woman owned. And it tastes so good. So we have that one. We're bringing back our signature chai my pecans, and it's one of the first drinks that we created when we started this business and was doing only mobile stuff.
Yeah.
So that's back in season, which I love. It's chai, obviously, and toasted pecan bitters. And then we have our signature drinks, mole latte. I love in this season because it's Oaxacan chocolate, and then you can add we add mole bitters to it, and that mix of the spice with the Oaxacan chocolate, it's just so nice, and I love it for this season. So yeah, that's
Yeah.
all the stuff that we're bringing on the menu.
Ooh, mole and pecans. That sounds really good together too. I
Mm.
mean, there's a little bit of competition with the pumpkin spice, but
Yeah,
but the mole, I mean, that just has to win. Like our ancestors are like, yes, put us in some
yes,
cafecito, bring it
exactly.
out. And it's kind of cool too, because I know that a lot of coffee bean farms in Latin America and Mexico, they used to originally be cacao plantations or
Mm.
whatever. So I think it's kind of cool. Like you're mixing these two things that were originally started out as a cacao plantation, probably, and then it moved into just being coffee. So
Yes, I love
yeah,
that. I hope that's
yeah.
true. That's
We
amazing.
do have to dive into some deep history on cacao and coffee because they go so hand in hand. So that's another future podcast. I
Mm.
think that would be really cool to geek out over and share with our viewers some knowledge bombs. I know a lot about cacao, and you know a lot about coffee. So
Yes, that'd be so fun. I'm
yeah,
down for it.
cool.
And
Eh,
then this season we're also doing events.
mm,
We're doing the San Diego Coffee Festival on November 2nd, and that one is it's kind of like a wine and what is it? Wine, food and wine festival,
Ooh,
but for
fun.
coffee. So there's a ton of different coffee vendors throughout San Diego that are going to be participating. And basically, you buy a ticket and you get samples from everyone. So you can try people's coffee and see who's you like the best, or if they have nice, fun drinks to try. But yeah.
Where is it at again?
It is at the Embarcadero,
Oh, fun.
down just outside of downtown in Little Italy. So yeah,
Right.
looking
What are
forward
the
to that.
times?
It is a 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. type deal. And if you buy tickets, you have to buy for certain times of the day. So you go from in the morning is 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. I think, and then there's the break, and then it goes again from 2 to 4, I want to say.
Mm.
Um, But yeah, I think tickets are like $65 if I remember correctly. But yeah, just a fun way to like see the coffee scene of San Diego because it's all local roasters.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. That's a cool event.
Yeah.
I love San Diego has so many fun events that like there's literally something for everybody.
Yeah, in El Cajon, they're doing Haunt Fest October 18th for Halloween and like they go all out. Like last year apparently like 30,000 people attended. So they're gonna do it again this year. I'm imagining it's gonna be the same kind of show and
Yeah.
same amount of people. So there's that. And then what else? November 30th, we're having the holiday lights, so they'll light up the Christmas tree. And there's also going to be an art walk, so it's going to be another fun thing that will be doing this season.
Cool. Yay, that's exciting. I love the
Yeah.
fall too and like going to events because I just like to act like I'm one of those cool people that has walks around with their coffee cup and just like strolls.
Mm.
Although I'm one of those people that drinks my coffee in like 5 seconds. So half the time it's like empty. And I do envy the people that like take forever to drink their coffee. I'm like, I
Yes,
don't know how you could do it. Like you do that. You sip on your coffee forever.
I do.
And I'm like gone in
Yeah.
seconds.
When I drink it ice, I drink it much faster. Also because I don't want the ice to melt. Like if we had like big square chunks of or square cubes of ice to put in the drinks, like
Mm,
I would totally do that because that's my ideal coffee experience. But iced, I have to chug fast before the ice melts.
nice. Fun. Cool. Well, that sounds fun. And Val is also wearing some Surge swag. So for people watching
Ooh,
through video, you can stand up and share. Show them your little gear.
yes.
It's super
Oh my goodness.
cute.
I'm gonna do a fashion show.
Yes, I love your I really do love the artwork. So this is like
Yes, I love
cute.
it. And we actually just got the proofs today. So we're officially putting these into production and gonna launch these on November 2nd. So
Oh, see,
I'm
another
stoked.
thing.
Yeah, we also are doing signature candles first. We're gonna do Palo Santo as their signature scent. So I'm
Mhm.
excited to put that in the coffee shop to make it smell good. And then lavender chamomile, I think. And then two of them based on our drinks. One, the Last Light, and the other one, the Mediterranean. So yeah, we're going all in this season.
Oh, perfect. I love it. Yeah, I mean you have to, especially because this is like your first rodeo with the holiday season, right? With
Mhm.
Surge Gallery at least.
Yes, yeah. So I'm learning all the things because yeah, I've never done this before, so we're doing it.
Yeah. If you are a local listener, at least within Southern California, I feel like you do travel out with your coffee cart. So there's also a
Mhm.
coffee cart that's associated with the business.
Yeah.
And, get some like holiday parties going on with some coffee. So little plug there for Val. And you can kind of check that out by just visiting her website. So the links will be in the descriptions to definitely check that out because it's also a fun idea to like do some sort of like friendsgiving or Christmas party and just like have like a brunch with some coffee and like so
Yeah.
I love that you also offer that too for your business.
Yeah, it's a fun thing that I don't know. I like good smells, good foods, good drinks.
Yeah, and the cart's super cute too. Just
Yes,
saying.
I love that one. My dad helped me build it, but it is time for an upgrade, so I'm just like patiently waiting to upgrade it.
Yes, yes, cool.
But yeah, what do you have going on this season?
I have a lot. So, on October 26th, I have an event that I'm going to be a speaker at. So I'll be doing a talk on human design, and basically like just letting people understand their human design energies type. So projectors, manifestors, manifesting generators, and all the five energy types. And I'll just be like really talking about how you understanding your energy type and how that really helps you feel empowered. And you can literally use just that out of everything. It's like the key thing to human design. If you don't understand that about yourself, then you can't really embody your chart. So I feel like really focusing on that before getting deeper into all the other things with human design, I feel like that's like a cool way to really have people start to embody from that place. Because when we learn about it, I feel like so many people are like, oh my God, then I gotta go learn this and I gotta learn that. But they never really embody the one thing that's so important. And
Right.
this event is, it's literally about like self love, empowerment and expanding. I mean, that's what the event name is called. It's expanded. So, partnering up with the person who's putting everything together. Her name's Randy, and she's a self-love coach. So it's like, a great event for me to be a part of. I'm super excited that she reached out and we
Oh,
connected. I'm also going to be doing a sound bath because of all the other things. I also do sound bath healing.
oh, I love your
So,
sound baths. They're amazing.
yeah, I love doing them. They're really fun for me to just at least, offer that to others. And so, and I just think it's like really exciting to combine that with the, understanding your human design, because in human design, there is the seven chakras. Actually, there's like nine of them in human design. And so working with the sound bowls, those are sounds that are based off the chakras. So it does kind of ping into human design in a sense. So
Oh,
everybody can purge, release, and let go through the sound bowls. And then that's the 26th. And then I have my Brujas Friendsgiving event that is happening November 2nd
oh.
on Dia de los Muertos. So I'm super excited for that. We're having an animal mediumship come in. She's a psychic
Ooh.
medium, and she specifically does animal readings. She also does, human mediumship as well. And it's just so funny that when I was speaking with her, I was trying to find somebody to work with because I really was like wanting to call in a medium
Mhm.
for this year's Friendsgiving because I had one last year and I decided to make it an annual thing. So, long story short, I found this local medium to San Diego. Her name's Paula. And we chatted, and then I was like, you know what? This whole animal mediumship does make sense because there's Xochimilco, which is such a big part of
Oh.
Dia de los Muertos, which is the dog that
Oh.
we see in all like, what is it called? What's that Disney movie?
Oh, Coco?
Coco, yeah. But it's actually
Mm.
like he's really like significant when it comes to Dia de los Muertos because they believed that the animals that you've had in your lifetime, that when you pass away, they're the ones who walk you through the underworld.
Mm.
So, and they meet with you, right? And so they kind of guide you through all the 12 levels of the underworld. So I was like, this is like perfect. And I'm so attached to
Yeah.
my golden retriever that passed away. And I
Mm.
still feel his little presence. So I was like, this goes really well with like the theme of Dia de los Muertos. And
Yeah.
then people will get a private one-on-one sesh. Be like 10-minute little intro, but at least she can tap into maybe some past loved ones and things like that.
Oh.
And then we have group tarot. So it's a fun event. It's like 4 hours. Everybody's gonna bring a potluck dish. So it's like Friendsgiving potluck style dish.
I
It's
love
all
it.
organized. So I like create a spreadsheet so nobody brings the same things. And then we go from there. And it's super fun. And I'm just really excited for that. So those are my two events. And then I'll just be working on a lot of sales. So this year I'm gonna really focus on bundling my readings with like PDF guides and things like that to help people really understand their chart readings. And then whatever they, when they do get a reading with me, they can have like almost like another guide to kind of put everything down.
Yeah.
So there'll be some guides for that, or even just to kind of like help peel the onion with them.
Yeah.
And then I also have my Etsy shop. So I'll be having a sale. I don't do a lot of sales through Etsy, through my apothecary shop, because, my stuff's reasonably priced. So I just feel like I offer that one time Black Friday, Cyber Monday
Yes.
type sales. And it's all chakra essential based oil blends, so like roller blends, and also chakra sprays. And then I have like two gift boxes that are like spiritual based. So that is something that I'll be working on, and just really prepping for like holiday season and how can I like give offerings to the community, but in a unique way. Like I don't want to just be like, oh, here's my
Yeah.
reading and here's 25% off. Like I really want it to be really unique and different. And I do focus on so many different types of readings with astrology and human design. And
Mhm.
then maybe offering like a home guide to connect spirituality to your home, which is like, what I'm really trying to gear into.
Yeah.
So it's fun. It's exciting. I mean, it sounds like it's a lot just saying it, but that is
Right.
entrepreneur life. We are Latinas. We have strong, like fire energy. So we can,
Yes.
we are worker bees. We can get stuff done.
Yes. And have fun while we're doing it.
Yes. Have fun, play some music. Ooh, I got this cookbook. Ooh, yes. I love it. You should buy it. About her name. It's plantas.
Oh, I've been
And
eyeing that one. How do you
yeah,
like
my
it?
I love it. My son got it for me for my birthday last month.
Nice.
And he was like, "Mom, what do you want?" And I was like, "Oh, okay. Well, he's on a budge." So I was like, "Okay, you know what? You can buy me this cookbook." And I was flipping
Yeah.
through the pages and I saw that there was a Spotify playlist that she created. And I was
Ooh,
like, that is such a cool idea. And it's like very
yeah,
like mellow, chill, like kind of like music from like Mexico City kind of vibe and all
nice.
that. So it's a fun playlist. But the recipes look amazing. They're all plant-based, so I'm super excited to dive into that. And whatever I do cook,
Ah,
I'll share with y'all in future episodes.
yes, I would love to know and to try selfishly.
You're right. You're like, invite me over.
Yes, please. Be my dates.
I will, I will. I think I told our book club that one day I would bring them like something,
Oh
make a
yeah,
casserole
everyone
or
wanted to
something.
try what they want? Khichdi.
Oh, kitchery. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, so with that said, we're going to start heading into the main topic of this podcast. Since Valerie and I are both entrepreneurs, and I'm all up into my chart and helping, support me in my lifestyle and my business and my healing journeys and all the things I've always reflected back to my chart. So I thought I would share some little tidbits with you all, especially if you are an entrepreneur or you're really feeling like your life purpose really does stem from like your work. Not all people identify with their work as being like, quote unquote, their purpose. But I think like this will help you really embody your chart. And, even if you do work for another employer, it's like, well, what are your gifts that you're bringing to that company, right? Or this will let you know if you're in the wrong company or you're in the wrong business. So it'll
Mhm.
definitely help you with some guidance. So we're going to use Valerie's chart today as an example. We also are going to tell y'all a little truth because we are new to podcasting. So we
Yeah.
literally we literally recorded a podcast yesterday and it was amazing and fun. And
Right?
then we figured out that it didn't record.
I know, bummer. But I'm thinking about it now. I was just sitting here and I was like, wow, actually this worked out better because I have all of these things. Like I have my birth chart printed out,
Love it.
my tarot spread that we did this year.
Ooh.
I did that one with you, like a breakdown of my chart. This like
Oh,
can
love
be
it. You
done.
already filled it out. Awesome.
Yes. So I'm like, wow, this happened to work out.
Yes. And if you, I would say before we get started, listening to this episode, press pause. And this isn't like a selfish plug. This is like to genuinely help you understand. I'll be linking my astrology guide basics down below. So that way you can kind of download that, maybe take a look at it, take a peek, and then you can come back to this episode and kind of start like having an understanding. So there is like a page in there that allows you to kind of like hand write your own chart, which I definitely recommend doing because it's something like you can do some fun artwork on. You can definitely like, yes, those are, so if you're watching the video, Valerie's sharing it with you. And those are just a couple of pages that are a part of the ebook. But I was part of a retreat in May, and I helped facilitate. And so, like to pass time, I was like, hey, why don't you guys all just like get out your birth charts? And I brought a bunch of fun stickers that are like zodiac sign stickers and markers, and dude, everybody went to town with it. It was so freaking cute. So definitely like let your creativity shine and tag us, tag either Surge Coffee or Lunasoul Wellness because I definitely want to see this and share it. And yeah, get fun, get creative. So definitely download that. So, okay. So let me pull up a Val's chart. Did you send it to me?
Mm,
I know
I
I
think
sent it to you, but my computer screen is like all funky. So if you have, do you have it handy?
I
The one
do.
that I sent you yesterday?
Hmm.
Okay. And then you can just text it to me because then it'll be on my phone.
Yes.
Sorry for the long delay, people. I'm actually texting my husband back. He's telling me he's gonna be late for dinner. He's has a busy work week, so that's good to know. I won't be seeing him for dinner.
Real life. This
Real
is how
life.
it
It is
is.
real life. Yeah, and yeah, my husband's an attorney, and when he's in trial, it's single mom life over here for like a
Ooh,
week to 2 weeks, sometimes even three. So, you know, comes
uh,
with the territory.
okay. Did you get it?
Cool. I'll take a look. Yes, I received it. So, Valerie's chart is pretty cool and awesome. So, fun facts about her. She is a Libra rising sign. Oh no, that's a different one.
Taurus, right?
That's the podcast. Yes, I did a astrology chart for our podcast. I need the one I sent you yesterday. That's your personal one, but I do remember from the top of my head.
Yeah.
So when we did it yesterday, so I do know that Valerie is a Venus rising sign, which means that her rising sign is in Libra. She is a Pisces sun, and she is a Sagittarius moon, I believe.
Yes.
Oh, you're not a Libra rising. You are a Taurus rising.
Yeah, I'm
That's
a
right.
Taurus, the same.
Yes. So the cool thing about certain zodiac signs is that some of them are double body signs. So Venus and Taurus, they're both ruled by Venus and Taurus. Libra and Taurus are both ruled by Venus. Mercury and Mercury is ruled by Gemini and Virgo. They both share the planet Mercury. And then for Jupiter, it's Sagittarius and Pisces both rule those two zodiac signs. So that's like one fun fact that most people don't really know or understand. But since you are ruled by Venus, that means that like love, beauty, community, balance, relationships are really important for you. And that's how you start to like step into life and really like lead into your purpose, because your rising sign literally is like how you kind of rise into your purpose in life, like kind of like your soul contract. Valerie and I, fun fact, randomly have the same human design incarnation cross, which is the vessel of love, which is also a really weird incarnation cross. But just that alone, like the vessel of love, like hi, that says like Venus, like screaming at you, like love is definitely something like you're here to give to this world. And you've like incarnated to kind of give that out to others. So you want to always look at your rising sign, and then what that modality is. Modality meaning like, is it an earth sign? Is it an air sign? Is it a water sign? And, Libra is Taurus is definitely an earth sign. So that means that since your rising sign is an earth sign, that means that you're pretty like, how can I say, earth signs are actually mutable signs. So mutable signs are the earth. So earth signs are Taurus and I'm totally blanking on that. It's actually not mutable. It's fixed. We're going to talk more about that too, because you have a lot of fixed stuff in your chart. So fixed signs don't really like to move or change. They kind of have like, not stubborn, but they're just, well, some of them could be, but they're pretty much like fixed in where they're at, right? And that's a good thing, because fixed signs usually have that attention span. Like they can focus on one thing, or focus on like whatever it is that they need to focus on. Because if you think about it, like cardinal signs, they're the ones who start the seasons, right? So you have Libra as cardinal signs, Aries as a cardinal sign, and Capricorn. They all start the seasons: summer, winter, and fall. The fixed signs, they're right in the middle. So they're more fixed at, kind of like completing the season of whatever they're in, and mutable signs, they are the end caps. So mutable signs are the Virgos, the Sagittariuses, and the Pisces and the Geminis. And those are the ones kind of that like pass the baton over to the next season. So, so that's kind of nice to understand about your when it comes to understanding your chart for entrepreneurship. So what we're going to focus on is the 10th house, the rising sign, your Venus placements, and your Jupiter placement. The reason why is because the 10th house is considered the MC. So it's called the midheaven. So on your chart, it will say MC. And it's usually in the 10th house, the 9th house, or the 11th house. But for most people, it's in the 10th house. And the reason why it's also really important is because the 10th house is kind of like the top of the chart. So you're looking at the wheel, the 10th house is usually right at the top. So that's like, think about like, that's where the sun is like peaked. It's like the hottest in the middle of the day type of thing. So just imagine your chart is just getting that full sun on it. And the 10th house represents your purpose in a sense. It also represents your career path. Could be one of the things that represent your career path. It's also your reputation, so how people see you. It also, on a like something that doesn't really relate, but maybe this is food for thought, it also represents your father in the chart. So when we do think about entrepreneurship, it is kind of like, let's look at the masculine relationship that kind of brought us into this world. You're going to see the things, the signatures of that in your 10th house. And it's so interesting because you have Saturn in your 10th house. And Saturn also is the sign of a father, right? So it's kind of like, maybe does really play a big expander role for you because it's in the 10th house. It represents your father. You have Saturn in the 10th house. So that's like definitely one signature that's like, okay, that was kind of meant to be. Like literally, you're like, hey, dad, I'm going to pick you as my dad because you're going to help
Yeah.
me embody my 10th house. I also have Saturn in my 10th house, and my dad definitely has been a big expander for me. We've actually worked a lot in business. I've sold a lot of his real estate homes, and stuff like that in the past. So, and I probably will going forward in the future. So it's kind of interesting that like he does play in my chart as well, because he's in my
Yeah.
10th house,
Yeah.
as far as Saturn. So, so your 10th house is ruled by, Aquarius. And so Aquarius, just so when you're looking at your zodiac sign, you always want to like look at the archetypes of each zodiac sign. For example, I'm a Virgo. So an archetype of a Virgo is somebody who is meant to kind of be of service to others, very practical, very analytical, and kind of like that's the energy of like what I'm going to be bringing to the table when it comes to like entrepreneurship. That boss energy too. I am pretty like analytical. Give me a task and I will get it done and I will dissect the crap out of it. And for you, Valerie, she is a Aquarius 10th house. So the midheaven being ruled by Aquarius is, the archetypes of Aquarius is definitely like the community member, networking. It needs to socialize, it needs to be out, it needs to be in the community. That's how it's going to get like its kind of expansion or whatever. And then, another thing with Aquarius is that it's also part of another fixed sign. So the fixed signs are, Taurus, Scorpio, and Aquarius, and I feel like I'm missing another one. um no, not Capricorn. Yeah, Aquarius, I think that's it. So if you're a fixed sign placement, that means like just like I said earlier, that means that you kind of have that stability, that energy to really focus on things, right? Get things done. So also with Aquarius being in the 10th house and the MC, working with people, working with networks, working with the community, but also, you're the water bearer. So you're also here to kind of like bring things out for the people in a nurturing way. And, it's almost thinking like, how can I serve the community with the gifts that I have, the gifts that I bring to the table? I'm not necessarily meant to keep them for me. I'm meant to pour this water out into the community. And, Aquarius is very humanitarian, so it does care about like groups and people, and it wants to always like stick up for like the underdog in a sense. So in modern astrology, it's ruled by Uranus. And their Uranus archetype is it likes to kind of stir the pot, likes to stir things up. Not
Wow.
stir the pot in necessarily like a horrible way, but it wants to create change. Aquarius is very much about change. And it's like, let's think about this. Let's turn the leaf over. Why do we have to keep it on one face down, right? Or let's start peeling the petals of a flower and see what that looks like. Is it still beautiful, or do we need to keep it all back together, right? So it does kind of like to do this tornado effect in a sense of where it's like, let's just throw all the papers all over the place and see where that gets us. Oh, you want them all nice and stacked? Nope, I'm going to come in and change it, right? So it will test its boundaries, it will push the limits, and it will specifically more likely do that for community or for humanitarian reasons, because that's just like Aquarius's archetype. It's very much
Hmm.
like the water bearer. It wants to keep the peace, but it's also like, I'm also going to stir the pot when I need to.
Yeah.
So it wants to create alchemy in that sense. And without alchemy, alchemy is energy. I just think about Einstein, like how crazy his hair was. It's like you bringing that to the table, but look what he built us. He built us all a light bulb, right? Yes, yes, yes. Your mane is very Einstein-y. So that's one thing about an Aquarius, and then the other thing that I saw in your chart is that um, you have your Venus in there. So when we are just looking at, the rising sign and its purpose when it comes to business, we're going to look at your rising sign. We're going to look at the rulership of your rising sign. And your rising is ruled by Venus. It's ruled by Taurus, zodiac sign. So then Valerie's house, her first house is blank. So some of you guys might not have any planets. There might not be any symbols, besides something that says AS. that's the degree of your ascendant. But we already know what your ascendant is, because whatever your first house is, whatever zodiac sign rules that house, that's automatically your ascendant.
Mm.
And your ascendant is like your guiding light in this lifetime. It's like the thing that's gonna, really ignite your purpose. And you start to, like I said, rise into it more so in your like late 30s to maybe mid lifetime in your mid 40s. I definitely feel more attached to my rising sign than my sun sign, because you kind of let go of the archetype of your sun sign. Like your sun is your ego,
Yeah.
so you kind of let that go a little bit, and it will always be there. It's always going to be there in the background, but the rising sign really does help you literally rise into your purpose. So
Mhm.
you being a Venus ruled rising sign, I'm gonna be like, well, where's Venus in your chart? Well, in Valerie's chart, it happens to be in the 10th house. So Venus in the 10th house, it's even more important now, because again, you already have your MC there in the 10th house, which I get, like I said, sometimes the MC could be in a different house, either the 11th or the ninth, but now your rising sign is in there. So now it's like you're bringing extra flavor of you, because the first house is Miss Valerie and her body. First house meanings are your rising sign. It's also meaning your physical body and what that appearance looks like. And most rising or most Venus ruled rising signs are very attractive. They're usually pretty balanced looking. They have a good style. They're very much a foodie. They identify, because the first house is what you identify as. So, I know that you do love food. Hello, you run a coffee-based business, and you really do want to bring these like other culinary arts to the coffee business. So that totally makes sense. And the difference between a Libra and a Taurus, ruled Venus sign, is that Libra is all about the glam, right? She's like, ooh, I need to be all sparkly, and like, they really might be into fashion. They might be into let's see, little like flashy things maybe. Sorry, I got like sidetracked because of course my husband's calling me. so so Libra is very much into like the beauty of things, whereas Taurus is into the beauty of things, but it's more so about like resources and abundance and money. Taurus does rule money in our chart. Wherever Venus is at, that's going to help us see like how we earn money. So, hi, Valerie's going to earn money by doing Venus type things in the 10th house. In the 10th house, Venus, wherever Venus is at, it also brings blessings. So now that 10th house is now being further blessed, because Venus is already, it's called the benefic planet. It's just, there's like nothing wrong with it in a sense, where other planets kind of are. So it's going to bring you your financial blessings, but also resource blessings. And as the water bearer wants to bring resources, right? If you just look at the archetype of the water bearer, she's holding a freaking like barrel and it's full of water. So you are definitely meant to bring shared resources to the table within your business and your community. Do you have any questions?
Um, no, I just like I love this because I mean I got into this super late, hence why I have like all of your guides and stuff with me. Because like I think seeing this and like kind of seeing it, but then like getting a deeper understanding of it is like so helpful. And especially for right now, the business is in an interesting place where I'm like, trying to figure out how to make it grow and like what we want it to actually look like, especially because I'm doing it full time.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and this is like spot on, and it feels like a reassurance that like we're on the right path. So I love this.
Yeah, yeah. And it's so good to know, especially as an entrepreneur, like, well, what does this flavor of my entrepreneurship look like? What are the challenges? What are the blessings that are going to come with it? What are the lessons? So you do have a lot going on in your 10th house. There's a lot of stuff going on. There's a couple of decent planets there. There's a lot of energy there. So that makes sense on why you're kind of called into, being an entrepreneur and being a boss, because the 10th house is kind of like, it is boss energy. And if you have so much planets there, especially like big planets, like game changer planets, then of course you're going to want to feel like I need to be a boss and own my own business. If you had stuff in the 6th house, then maybe it'd be like, I just want to work for somebody else, right? So it's just looking at the chart just could really definitely validate you, but also let you know where your blessings are and where your challenges are. So you do have a couple of little small like hiccups, I guess, that are going to happen along the way. So Saturn is also in Val's 10th house. And I already explained how the 10th house with Saturn in there can also represent like a father figure. But it also represents boss energy because Saturn is ruled by Capricorn naturally. So Capricorns are very like, they're driven. They're very like, they just have that boss energy. Like Capricorns, I mean, I think your baby daddy, your fur baby daddy, he be having a lot of Capricorn energy. So, and that's kind of interesting to even see his placement in your 10th house.
That's crazy.
So it's like so
Uh,
interesting the way that you can split the chart. It's like you're going to be attracting somebody who has a lot of that Capricorn energy in that 10th house. You also have Mars in the 10th house, and Mars is like, it's very driven. It's very like fast moving. It's ambitious. Those are the positive sides of Mars, but the challenging sides of Mars is that sometimes it can be too fast. It's like, wanting to go push things forward without really having all like your ducks in a row. And with Saturn and Mars being in the same house, there's like this push and pull energy of like, okay, let's get everything started. Let's do all the things. There's all this drive. And then all of a sudden Saturn comes in. It's like, oh, no, you need to slow it down. We're going to throw some cold water over that flame and put it out. So you might find that challenging initially, but Saturn in a positive way, when it's balanced and it's used correctly and it's understood, it really does give you that foundation for a solid base because it wants to give you lessons. Saturn is the principle of a zodiac sign, so it likes to give lessons. It's the father figure. It's like, come here, little child, you messed up. Come on, we're going to give you a lesson, or we're going to tell you a lesson, and whether you need it or not, it's grandfather energy, right? And whereas Mars is very much like kind of, it just wants to like drive a race car all day and possibly crash into something, and not worry about what happens. Where Saturn's like, yeah, no. So there's definitely like Mars is having the pedal or the foot on the gas, whereas Saturn is like putting on the brake. And it's like, wait, slow down. And so going through your, in life, especially as being an entrepreneur, and like this is the path that you 100% decided to take, really understanding like, okay, wait a minute, let me take a step back. Am I moving too fast? Also, with Mars there, it could be a little hot-headed. So, just knowing like, whoo, when you're feeling that temper, oh, that's the out of balance Mars coming out, right? Or when you're getting a little frustrated because things are going slow, maybe there's some sort of lesson. Or maybe that's Saturn saying, hey, maybe you just need to cut this. And Mars will be like, yeah, I love cutting things. Let's just cut it. So I think I'm trying to see what else you have in this lovely abundance of planets in that chart that you have. Let's see. Oh, you also have your North Node in there. So your North Node in astrology is, again, another thing. It's another part of your purpose. It's kind of like who you are supposed to embody. Like, what archetype are you supposed to embody in this lifetime? The South Node is kind of like, we look at the South Node placement as like a karmic placement. That's like if I'm looking at somebody's chart and I'm like, what are, if you do believe in reincarnation or whatever, like what is the energy in your past life? And then now you come into this life with that energy, but this life is a whole new life. So we like to lean into our South Node, but our North Node is really the energy that we're supposed to step into. And that energy is usually very, very, very uncomfortable. So for you in the past life, maybe you were, let's see what's opposite. You were like maybe the leader of something, right? Maybe a leader of a tribe, or definitely like a lot of attention, in a sense, not in a bad way, but it's because it's ruled by Leo. So Leo's like, think about it, runs the lion pack, and it needs to be ahead of everybody, not behind everybody. Where in this lifetime, Aquarius, you're meant to still lead, right? Be that water bearer, but also like kind of be okay with getting lost in the crowd, like behind the scenes thing. Whereas in a past life, it was like, I was the scene.
Mhm. That's freaking funny because I saw some of my past lives and this is like spot on. Like this is crazy.
Right. Yeah. So I think that I feel like mines are switched. I'm a Leo North Node and a Aquarius South Node. And in this lifetime, I'm meant to like lead and do all the things. But sometimes I'm like in my South Node era and I'm like, I just want to be in the back. Can I just play some sound bowls in the back? Nobody has to see me. So I've been really trying to embody that as well. It's not in my 10th house. It's actually in my 11th house, but or no, it's not even in my 11th house. It's in my eighth and second house, or the little axes or whatever. So, so just knowing like, okay, there's, things that definitely the 10th house is really prominent, important for you. You have some like game changer planets that are there. There's also understanding like the benefits of it, right? You have Venus there, who's amazing, giving you blessings, but you also have Mars and Saturn, who are considered malefic planets. So just knowing like how to balance it all. But you have a good, Aquarius, it being ruled by Aquarius, that's great. I love me some Aquarius. It's like a lot, my kids have like so many Aquarius placements in them. So I definitely attract that. And another thing is Aquarius does rule social media, and it rules in a sense where it rules like the internet connections, in a sense, computers, things like that. So like doing this podcast, that's very much an Aquarian thing. We are coming into the Aquarian age. That's why you're seeing like AI come out and all this stuff with like robots. That's very Aquarius, Uranus, because Uranus is out of the box thinking. We're having like a lot of things with the ethers, as far as like tech. It's like we don't even have to plug our stuff into things at this point. Everything's like Bluetooth. That's very Aquarius, right? So do you have any questions? What are your thoughts at this point before we move on?
Um, wow, I love this. This is great, phenomenal. I think I'm just like, I'm hearing you say all of this stuff and explain it to me, and I'm thinking back to like what we're doing at the coffee shop and like what I'm interested in, and then like Chris's role and like being co-founders, and like even though I'm the one doing it full time, like also still honoring his presence, and like how do we balance like all of this stuff and also serve our community. And yeah, I love that because it's what we're doing with Surge Coffee. And I feel like we got here so fast from like a mobile, literally like online coffee. It was first thing. We built it from the ground up to now being in a brick and mortar
Hmm.
because we did all of these things. So yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
I can definitely feel Saturn for sure.
Yeah, I definitely see it all too. Like, because I've known you for like 3 years now, almost going on four. So I feel like, yes, it's like even me looking at the chart, I'm like, oh wow, this is like, can't make this up. It's all
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
You're on the right track. You feel like you're literally on the right track, you know?
Tuned
I
into
was like,
nature.
yay, I did something right. Um, so the next thing we're going to jump into, which would be the last placement. There's so many other things that we will definitely get into. Like I really want to do a sixth house podcast episode because that's like really interesting. And that is one of the areas that you would look in for work, and like the second house for money and all that stuff. But we're just focusing on the midheaven, 10th house placements. If you do have your midheaven in the ninth house, or if you have it in the 11th house, the ninth house is about culture, travel, long distance traveling, philosophy. It could be spirituality. It could be like an educator, somebody who teaches, because the ninth house is traditionally ruled by Sagittarius. So it's like those Sagittarius qualities. So if your MC is in that placement, that might mean like maybe you are a teacher, maybe you teach foreign language, maybe you work outside of the country that you were born in, or maybe you communicate with other people that are not of the same culture as you, or you're like really into spirituality, or you're an astrologer, right? Like ninth house placement MC, that's what that would be. 11th house MC would be more kind of very similar to you. Because the 11th house is traditionally ruled by Aquarius. So, oh, I'm sorry, I take that back. Is it ruled by Aquarius? Yes, yes, it is ruled by Aquarius. So, so a person who has the MC in the 11th house, that would be very much a person who, again, is into community building, networking. Maybe they're a publicist, maybe they are into internet stuff, or into just like stirring the pot all the time, Einstein vibes, right? But it's more social aspect. It's more like working with community, or working for a nonprofit, or things like that. I have a lot of 11th house placements. Like half my chart is in the 11th house. So community and all that stuff's like really important for my career path and in my life. So it's like interesting how I don't have my MC in there. It's in the 10th house, but there's so much energy in the 11th house that it also now has to play a factor in like my 10th house career stuff.
Mhm.
So we're going to now take a peek at your last thing is the Jupiter. So we said, earlier that Venus, she brings abundance, she brings that positive bitch energy, she brings that like very goddess quality energy to a chart. Like I said, she does bring nice blessings. And then Jupiter in the chart brings expansion. So wherever it's at in your chart, when you're looking at business, it's like, well, how can I use this Jupiter energy in my chart to really expand and utilize that? So your Jupiter is in your third house, which is ruled by Cancer. And also, this is like a little geeky, but certain planets are exalted in certain zodiac signs, and then other planets could be in fall or in detriment. We're not going to get into all that, but for the sake of this, conversation, Jupiter in Cancer is exalted, which means that it does really well in that zodiac sign. It's like it's comfortable in it. If it was in Gemini, it wouldn't be comfortable in it because Gemini likes to I guess overly think, and Jupiter's like, that's just too much. We don't need to do all that. We don't need to communicate that much. So I was explaining this to Valerie yesterday on our first podcast about this, that I like to look at Jupiter as kind of like the Santa Claus in your chart. He comes with the bag of presents, and there's a full ass bag of presents. So whatever, it is in, that Jupiter sign is in, it's going to like bring all those gifts to that house, right? Especially if it's in a good placement. If it's not in such a great placement, it doesn't mean like you're effed, like Santa's not coming to you because you're a bad kid. It just means that, there's might be some lessons there, or there's some energy there to work with, but still, you will still get some blessings in if it's not in like a best placement. But yours is in one of the best. So it being in the third house, it's Cancer's ruled by the moon. So the moon is very emotional. It's very sensual. It's a feminine energy, but it's also embodies just that nurturingness, that mother, the moon, Cancer, it rules the mother in the chart. So there is very much something about you that is very mothering, and it's in the third house. And the third house is connected to siblings and small travel. So like you and your coffee cart. That's small distance traveling. And then it's also associated with there's some spirituality to it too, but I think when it comes to the third house, it's like definitely working with your siblings, which I know that you've said that your logo, like your sister made, and things like that. So you're definitely like bringing in like bits and pieces of your family into your business, and also it being exalted with Jupiter there. Jupiter is just like, ooh, it's happy. It's like, oh yes, I want to have, like, you probably have really good relationships with your siblings. It also rules communication. So the fact that Jupiter's there, it rules communication as in writing, reading, spoken word, like talking to other people. It also rules, like I said, small neighborhood travel. So definitely like really embodying that in your business. As like I said, you already run the coffee cart, which is great because that's small distance travel. Again, it's like saying, hey, you need to also work with communication, things of communication. So maybe writing recipe books, ebooks, writing, like literally the third house means writing. The moon could also embody like food because we need to be nurtured, right? So it's bringing the mama bear qualities to that third house. And then the reason why that's important for looking at like your career stuff, it's like, well, where are we going to be blessed in our chart? Where are the places that we can pull from? So pulling from, siblings, family, cousins, things like that, pulling from, neighbors, or even working with the things of the third house because you have such a great placement there. So wherever your Jupiter's at, you're going to kind of take a peek at that. So for example, mine is in the 11th house. So for me in my career, it's actually going to also being embodied like internet and working with networking with other people, and the 11th house also being really big on communication, but my 11th house is ruled by Libra. So I also have that Venus there that also is like bringing into my business. So that love, right? Bringing the balance, the harmony, the peace and all that stuff. So my Jupiter's there in that house. And that's where I'm going to get my expansion for my business, is doing 11th house things, right? community networking nonprofit, which I literally started a nonprofit, like shocker. And then where's your expansion going to come from? It's going to come from, doing those neighborly connections with the businesses around you, doing those connections with, again, like not everybody needs to work with their family, but for you, I don't think it's a bad thing. And also just starting to embody third house writing techniques, PDFs, blogs, things like that will really help you be seen in a sense. Also, you want to find, where is the ruler of your 11th house? I'm sorry, of your Jupiter. And that is in, let's see, the ruler of Cancer. I'm looking for Sagittarius. Sagittarius in your chart is in it's ruling the eighth house. So you also always want to look at, well, where is it naturally being ruled? Sagittarius, because Jupiter rules the zodiac sign of Sagittarius. So we also want to take a peek at that. And so it's like, okay, the eighth house is other people's money. And scary part, it's death. Okay. It is death. It's also inheritance. So that is another part of your chart that's also going to receive a blessing because it's ruled by Jupiter, Sagittarius. You can also look at where your sun's at because you are a Pisces sun sign, and Pisces is traditionally ruled by Jupiter. So, it's like, where's your sun sign at? So these are like, literally, this is something like you can jot all this down and break down every little thing. And then eventually you're going to start to see a theme. There's a theme of like, Jupiter, like I said, he's the planet of philosophy too, and working with other cultures. And you and your fur baby daddy, he's a different culture than you. So that makes sense that you would bring that out in, your business and really like embody that, literally embody that, because I believe that your moon is in there. So other people's cultures are kind of going to be where you kind of like are emotionally intrigued by it, if that makes any sense.
Crazy because like we have some stuff like to Chris's Armenian culture, and then there's a couple products like we have a chai, and the business owners are like actually Indian. I think they're Indian and Indian heritage. I think it's the both of them, but yeah, it's like spot on other people's cultures. I love that.
Right. So there's a lot to you have to look at the chart and you ping from one side to the other, whatever. So if that's too much, y'all can just book a reading with me.
Yes,
And I can definitely help you out with that. But I think the key thing, this is my 10th house coming out right now, my 10th house in Virgo, because Virgos are really good at like dissecting and separating what's important, what's not. We are the shafters of wheat. So what makes me just simplify it is just write down keywords and just like literally like keywords, Venus, it's balance, it's love, it's harmony, it's abundance. It also represents money, and you just write all these one little letter things, and you're going to start to see this like repetitive pattern maybe, or some sort of something that's going to give you like a little more clarity. And you're just looking at words, not attaching any emotion to them. And literally just like starting to understand what the zodiac signs are and what they represent, what they mean. And then from there, you can start to see, okay, well, what do the houses mean? And where's this and that, right? So just, for most part, just like word dump it on a piece of paper. And then from there, you can kind of like at least see I don't know, like a haiku or something, like a little theme of it. Oh, perfect. Yes. Valerie just showed us what she was working on right now, because this is all new to her too. This is why it's like a great conversation to have, because she's also new, like everybody possibly listening. By the time we are like in season 3, like she's gonna be like a chart reader.
Yes, cannot wait. I have been told many times I am a healer and I'm just trying to learn.
Yes, that definitely does make sense. And there's also things like transits that could, let's say, go across the midheaven in your chart, and transits are where the planets are currently at now, and those are a big deal. Like I was sharing with Val yesterday that there's a transit that I have going on. It's Mars that's transiting my moon, and the moon represents your family and your parents. and immediate family in a sense. And since Mars is transiting my moon, I've had some family members literally in 1 week. Two family members had surgery. My dad had back surgery, and then my nephew also had surgery to their chest. And the moon is ruled by breasts govern Cancer zodiac, and my moon is in Cancer. So I was like, this is so interesting. Like this
Oh,
transit's crossing like the house that, my moon's in, which is Cancer. Mars severs. Mars is the planet when you look at for surgery, you look at for violence as well, guns and knives and all that stuff. But it's like in the way it's playing out in my chart right now is that it's literally like having surgery on my whole family.
yeah, crazy.
So these things all just matter and they really do. So that's why I'm excited to like share this type of way of looking at life
Yeah.
to people. And I think I feel like it does help in a sense because you can kind of like really be like, okay, I can embody in that and I can let go of that.
Hmm. Yeah. So helpful. This is phenomenal. I always love like your readings, and which is why like I did the human design one though, and I think we did my birth chart one time, and then something else transit another time, and like just so helpful. Like this is incredible. I can't believe like I don't look to this often, but then every time I do come back to it, I'm like it's just all plays out, and it's crazy to see in like real time basically.
Yeah, right. Yeah, and you have a lot of fixed like angles in your chart. So there is like this drive, this energy that's like, I'm gonna get things done. I have the momentum and the focus. And there's like no wasted time. So hopefully like just embodying that. And girl, you're gonna get blessings because that 10th house with that Venus in there, it's
Yes.
already amazing. Already
Thank
amazing.
you.
Well, thank you for letting me dissect your chart and letting everybody hear about your private life.
I mean, like, yeah, this stuff I'm good with sharing because I feel like this is so important for many people. And, like, of course, there are like some people are just not going to be playing out their charts in everyday life because they haven't tuned in yet. And like, yeah, I feel like I've gone on a very spiritual journey to like really pay attention to this. So yeah, I don't mind sharing.
Yeah, you can definitely play out your chart, but you can play it out in the shadow aspect or you can play it out in the positive aspect. So the more you know about the shadow and the more you know about the positivity, the more you're like, oh, okay, I'm gonna lean in this way. And also just knowing that transits do activate your chart. Like, for example, a Saturn return that activates the Saturn in your chart. So you might have that Saturn that's dormant since you were, a little kid and in your early
Yeah.
20s, but then it starts to get activated and your rising star sign starts to get activated as you age into your, midlife years and things like that. So just knowing that transits also do play a big role and they do ping charts in certain ways or another, right? So it's all fun and games. Oh, I'm
See.
sorry. I can't hear you.
Oh, I was just saying, like, it really sounds, it's amazing to see it.
Yeah. Well, I hope that you guys enjoyed this episode. If you did, please share it. I think, there's a lot of people that can really gain some insights about this. I know it was pretty heady. So just like I said, feel free to like re-listen to this, take a peek at your chart, or if you really want to work with moi, you definitely can. And I can help give you all the resources. I definitely do give a lot of like stuff with my readings. And by the
A
time you're
lot.
done with me, you should understand this. So yes, and that's Saturn in my 10th house. So
Nice.
yes, so please hit me up with any questions. You can easiest ways probably through Instagram, through the DMs. Just slide in my DMs and let me know your thoughts about your chart. But also, I do encourage. To book a reading, I think it really is important, at least just a natal reading to understand like just your chart and start from there. And then we can dive deep into like different parts of life. Um, but yeah, I hope you all enjoyed this. This was a long one.
Yes, yes. I mean, there's so much information, and like it's just a preview of what it's like to like do bookings with you, and like this is phenomenal. I mean, so insightful for me, and like I'm sure anyone else who would do it, it would be the same insightful for them. So yeah, book if you really need to figure out your life, because this is very helpful.
Right. I mean, I've used it, so that's why I definitely do believe in it. Everything that I share, I've actually like embodied and used myself. So, well, with that said, I feel like we're going to close this out
Yeah.
and, move on with our evening. It's such a lovely evening outside here in San Diego. We definitely pay for our weather.
Yes, I will happily do it.
Yes, yes. All right. Well, you all take care. And like I said, don't forget to like and subscribe, especially now. We are in our newly episodes, newly stages, and I hear it's so important for podcasts to get reviews now. So your call to action is if you really enjoyed this episode, please write something positive. If you didn't like it, then you could just DM that to me. You don't need to put that on. You don't need to write a review.
Let us fix it. Please give us a chance.
Yeah, but DM us. I'm just kidding.
Yes.
Again, be your honest self. But we hope you enjoy it. Have a great week. And what is one thing that we can leave as a ritual? Because that was one of the things that we always wanted to leave you all with. Let's see.
Yeah.
Oh, I think I have a good one. I think you should give a fun coffee ritual, and then I'll give one. So I'll start. Mine is, since it's starting to get dark later, we have more hours that are going to be allocated towards the evening. So I would say this next new moon, look at the stars and just watch like a dark sky and just connect with the stars above. And I know some of us live in highly lit light pollution or whatever, but like, again, just remembering like the stars, and they do shine for us all the time, and a lot of our chart does connect to the stars. So I would just want you to embody the night sky, because we got to get friendly with it for the next couple months, but just say hello to the moon and the stars.
Yes, nice. I love that. I have not been doing that on our night walks lately, and that's a very nice reminder.
Yeah.
For a coffee ritual, I coffee for me is very meditative. It's not something I typically like to just like rush about. And that's one thing that we try to embody in Surge Coffee. A little balance, because I understand people have busy schedules.
Right.
But yeah, finding that time to like really be intentional about actually making your coffee and paying attention to the water, and making sure you're measuring out your coffee. So, you're taking the time to make it delicious for yourself.
Hmm.
Um, these dogs in the background are having a fight because they're hungry and they don't have anything else to do.
Right, right. Okay, can you be done telling them about your coffee ritual? Because we're hungry.
Yes, exactly. But yeah, taking the time and intention to like pour into yourself, so many of us pour
Mm,
outside. It's time to pour into yourself and be intentional about what you're doing. Be present.
I love that. Pour into yourself. Aw, maybe as you pour your water, your coffee, you can say a little positive self-love affirmation.
Ooh, yes, yes, I love that.
Okay, we gave you all homework now, so you could do that. And thank you for hanging out with us. And I hope you enjoyed this podcast. We're super excited to be able to have these, and we look forward to more connections for sure.
Yes, and we'll chat soon.
All right,
Bye.
bye. Thank you for joining us on this episode of Espiritu Coffee Chats.
We hope you enjoyed our conversation and found a little inspiration to take with you.
If you loved what you heard, don't forget to subscribe, rate, and leave a review on your favorite podcast platform.
And stay connected with us on social media for updates, behind the scenes content, and more.
Until next time, keep the spirit alive and the coffee brewing. Cheers!
Cheers!